Before you set out on your fall adventure, we're getting some road trip advice from our friends at Auto Trader. Joining us is executive editor Brian Moody with his travel picks. Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
It's great to have you on the show, especially talking about fall travel. So what is the first thing that we all need to consider before heading out on the road?
Well, consider how far you're going to go. That's the first thing. And do you need to bring snacks and a blanket? Because remember, even in the fall, depending on where you're going, it could get super cold. So you might want to bring an extra pair of shoes, a blanket, some water, maybe even an extra cell phone battery or one of those little chargers, that you can charge your phone up remotely, that kind of thing.
All right, so this is a really big question for a lot of people. Do we drive our own car or should we rent a car if we're going on a road trip?
It depends, again, on what kind of car you have. If you have something comfortable that's going to do the job, then go ahead and take your own car. But some people, and I've done this before, is that you fly to a certain part of the country and then you get a car there and then you drive around and then you return it and then you fly home. So that's something that you can do also.
All right, let's talk about your favorite places to travel, starting with the Southwest.
So in the Southwest, there's, of course, great places to see along the ocean, especially in California. Places like Orange County, San Diego County. You can use the Pacific Coast Highway, but you can also, in some places of just Interstate 5, there are some really pretty turnouts. And then when you get to these smaller towns, you can get off the highway and explore some of those places and have a nice little getaway without having to drive super long distances.
And what's your favorite car to take on a Southwest road trip?
Okay, so in that particular case, I would recommend a plug-in hybrid like the Volvo XC60. You can plug it in, and remember, in the West, and especially in places like California and even some in Arizona, there are charging stations. So you can charge the car up, maybe overnight, and you have about 30 or 40 miles to drive on electricity to do all your daytime exploring. And then if you want to get on the highway and head inland, you have a gas engine to kick in, and that will take you the full distance.
I love a good road trip. All right, let's switch gears and go to the middle of the country. What is your favorite destination in the Midwest?
So there's this little town in the Midwest that's not very well known. It's Arlington, Missouri, and you can head there from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and you can see all of these old sort of ghost towns. It's a really cool place to explore, and you can do both on and off-road adventures. Same if you want to start in Texas, there's this thing called the River Road, which runs along the Rio Grande. All of that stuff, super cool and fun.
All right, so if we're going to take that type of trip, is there a car that you recommend?
Yeah, I would say for that, get something like the Chevy Tahoe because it does both on-road duty and off-road duty.
All right, now we can't talk about fall without expecting to see some beautiful fall colors. Where should we go to see that extravagance?
You can head to the East Coast, of course, and look for places as a starting point like Virginia and West Virginia. Roanoke is a good place to start. You can head all the way up to Providence if you want to, or you can stop in Pennsylvania. All of those places in there are going to have great fall colors. You can go online and find what time of year is best, but usually it's around October.
Okay, what type of car should we take on that kind of road trip?
I'm going to go with Mustang convertible because it's not going to be super cold in the daytime, but it will be just cool enough and just warm enough to make top-down driving fun. And if you don't want to do that, you can put the top up, and some of those roads are going to be super fun in a Mustang.
Any last-minute advice you have for us before we take our fall road trip?
Don't assume that it's going to be vacant just because it's a place you've never heard of. So plan ahead, call ahead, do a little bit of research online, and also reserve your car ahead of time if you're going to rent one, because everyone might have the same idea as you.
I love it. Make a solid plan. Brian, I love a good road trip. Thank you so much for these suggestions. And if you would like more information about Auto Trader, just head to their website.